Hello and welcome to Pisgah Health Today. My name is Angela Owen and it's my privilege to host this program brought to you by the Pisgah Health Foundation. The Pisgah Health Foundation is a public 501c3 charity founded in 2019 by a board of 7 caring individuals committed to improving the health, wellness, and lives of Western North Carolina residents. Our special guest today is Sarah Hankey, who is the organization lead at Blue Zones Project Brevard. She is the founder of Sustainable Health for All, one of the hosts of WNC Health Streams podcast. Her past experience includes being an integrative health coach in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and formerly a teacher for 14 years. We are so excited to have you. Welcome to Pisgah Health Today, Sarah.
Thanks, Angela. Thanks for having me on here. It's great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you as well, and so excited about the work that you are doing through Blue Zones. And for those in our audience who still may not have heard about this program, why don't you start there and just tell us a little bit about Blue Zones?
Well, Blue Zones is really a community-led wellness initiative that is taking place in our community. Brevard has actually signed on to become a Blue Zone certified community. We're working towards that goal. It's a complete community transformation. So we are looking at changing the aspects of and nudging people into these healthy choices by reaching every corner of our community. With built environment and policies and helping people get healthy choices into schools and grocery stores and restaurants, and really just making sure that the community knows that the choices are available to them. So it's really not about changing much or taking things away, but adding those great choices. And Blue Zones, yes, Angela.
I was just going to say, I think that's a really important component in part as well, is that it's not in any way trying to control anything, but just really offer those opportunities and choices as you're describing. And it's a beautiful picture, community transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really started with a National Geographic fellow named Dan Buettner. About 10, 15 years ago, him and his team just went all around the world studying longevity. And they found that there were 5 these longevity hotspots around the world. And in their office, they had a big map on the wall and they would circle these hotspots with a blue Sharpie, and thus came around the Blue Zone. So it's a great story to share. So from those 5 Blue Zones, they kind of were doing some research and discovered there was commonalities in these places that were nudging the individuals to live longer. And those activities that these people were doing, they brought them back to the United States and came up with the 9 principles called the Power 9. And really, Blue Zones, that's the heart of how we really kind of go through these communities and help nudge citizens into making better choices for their health. The Power 9 is something that can be transformative for people. It's a lot of things that we're already doing, but sometimes paying attention to those things that maybe we don't necessarily recognize as being a healthful activity can help bring that awareness that we need to really make those choices, more apparent and bring some more awareness to that area.
Awareness and intentionality behind those, huge part of it. Well, Sarah, let's bring it just a little bit more specifically into some of the work that you are leading in your role as the organization lead. Tell me a little bit about workforce Blue Zone certification, what is involved, and do we have any local businesses that have become certified?
Yes, I'm so happy and proud to say yes, we do. So I'm the organization lead, which really puts me in charge of helping the organizations in our community work through the Blue Zones project approval process. So these organizations could be schools, restaurants, grocery stores, and work sites. Each organization's a little bit different on the process, but I'm their support system and I help provide resources and just guide them through the process, which can be, take a month or 2, maybe 3, depending on what type of organization and how large they are to get through the process. But it's most of the organizations, especially in Brevard, are already doing such incredible things that they're already over halfway there. And just with these little tiny adjustments and some additional resources and support, we can get them Blue Zones project approved. And the most important piece of that is when these organizations come on board with us and become approved, they're helping our community at large reach that target of becoming a Blue Zone certified community. So in the next 2.5 to 3 years, hopefully we'll be there and making that goal, which will bring national attention to our little Brevard town, and we will be a Blue Zone certified community, which just really makes the rest of the population aware that we are putting our health at the forefront of our decisions.
It's really powerful to think about being nationally recognized for good, positive health reasons. There's been so much that has been recognized on the other end of that spectrum. And so, what an amazing opportunity. Any Blue Zone certified sites that you can highlight here for Brevard?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, of course, Pisgah Health Foundation, our sponsor. Without them, none of this would be possible. They were the first work site to be approved. And following them, we had Brevard Music Center recently approved. They were just in the Transylvania Times with their ribbon cutting. And coming out next week, I think I'm okay to say, is Hendersonville Pediatrics. They're the first physician's office to be approved in all of the Carolinas. That's something to note, that there are no Blue Zones in the Carolinas. So Brevard is making our mark by having we are the 50th community, and we're the only one in the Carolinas to go through the process.
Leading the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple other work sites that are on their way. Physical and Comporium are through the process here. And then schools, Brevard Academy and Brevard High School are going through the Blue Zones project approval process too. Brevard High School is doing some really great things with their students. Yeah, we're doing some commercials with them and really helping their student-led wellness committee do some great projects for their student body, which will make their mark. And Brevard Academy, they're incredible. They've been doing so many healthful things that this just really hit home for them to kind of go through the approval process and make sure that their projects are going forward, and we are there to support them.
So much of what you just highlighted at all of those organizations involves the youth and the children. And that is really amazing, because that, I am confident, is going to go back in and help the family as a whole and really start these young people off with good, solid, healthy choices and habits along the way.
Yeah. And Angela, one of the sad statistics that's out there is that, it's the first time in our lives that our children aren't expected, their life expectancy is less of their parents. That is just incredibly saddening, and we need to do something about that.
Right.
70% of the United States population is overweight or obese. And hopefully with Blue Zones, we can slowly change that and slowly nudge that needle in the right direction so that our children are benefiting from this. And they're seeing that being healthy is natural for us. We don't have to fight for it. It's something that is our birthright. And so that's really what's at the heart of Blue Zones, is making sure that we are pushing the longevity for ourselves, but for future generations. Could you imagine that after our town becomes Blue Zone certified and we come back 20 years and see that our obesity rate has dropped in half or more, what that would mean to our youth and our student population and the health and wellness of everyone in Western North Carolina? There's that beautiful ripple effect that happens, that when one person is healthier, it affects their family, their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers. So we have the power to make a huge dent in Western North Carolina and beyond with what we're focusing on with Blue Zones.
Oh, it's a beautiful picture. And I love that phrase, being healthy is natural.
Yeah.
I'm going to hang on to that one, Sarah. That is powerful. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the restaurants. So there's also, I understand, a Blue Zone certification of sorts for restaurants. What does that involve? And do we have any that have achieved that wonderful space?
It's very exciting. And that's what a lot of people ask about, is the restaurants, because it directly affects the community. They want to see those Blue Zones approved restaurants. Blue Ridge Bakery just got approved. And what it entails is really adding plant-based options to your menu. And for restaurants, that can kind of seem a little bit like scary, but I'll tell you, it's really quite easy. Most restaurants have the ingredients that they need, and most patrons are noticing that some options are available, but they're just not put together correctly. So restaurants have been saying, we are getting these requests for plant-based options or vegetarian options, but they're not on our menu. Well, here we are at Blue Zones. We can actually help them with the menu rewriting and the menu redesign if they want to do that. If they want to do a complete full menu redo, we can help them with that. Or we can also just add some Blue Zone options to an additional menu for them. And it can be as simple as that. But really, it's about making those plant-based choices available. It's not about necessarily taking away anything, but again, adding those healthy choices. So restaurants right now, Blue Ridge Bakery has a bunch of plant-based options added to their menus. They, of course, still have the cupcakes and all their goodies there. So it's about making sure that you have that balance and have the choices. Yep, the choices available if you choose that. Kitchen is actually going through the approval process. They are going to be next on the row here. And they have been adding plant-based options as their specials. So if you look at their little chalkboard outside of their restaurant, you can often see some of their specials that they're going to be adding for their Blue Zones menu. And then we have a couple more coming down the road too that are going to be adding some new menu options and becoming Blue Zones Project approved. But restaurants, that is a powerful tool for us to use, because then we are able to hit a lot of people. We have a lot of tourism here, and a lot of people are coming to go out to eat downtown. So having that information about Blue Zones on the menu and in the restaurants and having the plant-based options is a really important key to this. One of my favorite things is the veto rule to tell restaurants. So if restaurant owners are listening to this and they're wondering, like tipping, should I do this or not? Say you have a party of 5 and one person in that party is either vegetarian or vegan or wants plant-based options, and you have nothing to offer them on your menu. Most people aren't comfortable asking for things that aren't on the menu. Right. So there you are, you have lost a party of 5 because you don't have anything on your menu as an option for that individual. And that's called the veto rule. So by just adding one plant-based option or a few things on their menu that they can give, you now have gained that group of individuals back to your restaurant. So it really is a win-win for everybody.
And Sarah, I used to think that plant-based meant I was going to still be hungry later. Yeah. And I've had a couple of those items on Blue Ridge Bakery's menu, and they are very filling and very delicious. And so I think that's the other thing that I am watching you help these restaurants bring and helping us as a community to understand is, doesn't mean you're going to starve if you're going on a plant slant. So we're helping to break some of those old paradigms from some of the mountain girls like myself.
Right. And, there is also a misconception out there that you have to get protein from animals, and that is just simply not true. Every vegetable has protein as well. And bioavailable protein at that. And we're not saying, if you choose to eat animal protein, that is absolutely fine. That is your choice. We want to see more plants on your plate. And really getting to make sure that you're focusing on where is your fiber coming from. Dr. Ora Wells always talks about the lack of fiber in our diet, and I couldn't agree more. Fiber is the key to our health and our digestive system. It has all those prebiotics that we need for good digestive and good health, and our immune system stored in our gut. So it's really important that you have enough fiber in your diet to support that, especially now more than ever. So adding more plants to your plate is going to give you the necessary nutrition that you need in order to support that. So just making that little adjustment and plant slanting your plate could help you move in the right direction of better health.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. So Sarah, let's loop back to those Power 9. I always like to ask my Blue Zone guest, do you have a favorite Power 9? And if so, what is that?
I do have a favorite Power 9. I think they're all really important, and a very holistic approach to health. It's just not about moving right or what you eat, but really about making connections and having a purpose. So One of mine favorite is Right Tribe, because I feel like it's so important that you surround yourself with people who not only value you for your choices, but also you can be inspired from. And there's a little statistic that I like to throw out there that there is 150% chance that if your friends have unhealthy habits, that you will adopt those unhealthy habits as well. So we really need to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with the right individuals. So Right Tribe is absolutely my favorite. It also brings in that connectivity piece. That's one of the things that it makes us human, is that desire to connect with each other and love and nurture each other. There's so many other great ones, Power 9 that we could talk about that, 80% rule is another favorite of mine. When people see that little pie chart with the 80%, they think, oh gosh, I'm going to be hungry. Like you just said, like, I can't stop eating the 80%. Well, if we switch our focus to what is actually on our plate, and if most of it is, say half of it is plants, that fiber is going to fill you up very quickly. There's another thing that, Katina at Blue Ridge Bakery, she was telling me about the other day about cooking. She's doing all these amazing cooking classes for Blue Zones. And we as a society are just missing out on cooking. There's a magical thing that happens in our bodies that when we start to think about food, when we see food, when we're cutting up food, our bodies start to get ready to receive that nourishment. And it starts creating chemicals, digestive enzymes, that's going to help break down those foods and help get that nourishment into our bodies. If we're neglecting to do that, then we aren't really getting our bodies ready. And we're missing a huge chunk of what's going to help us digest our food and really get what we need from the food. So I really love the 80% rule and Plant Slant, because it brings in the whole purpose of mindful eating and cooking our food when possible, of course.
Of course. And I often think too, I love to be in the kitchen with my family cooking together. So we're bringing the cooking experience along with that family, and a huge part of my Right Tribe. And speaking of Right Tribe, Sarah, thank you for being part of our Pisgah Health Today Right Tribe and for sharing a little bit of the story of Blue Zones. It certainly has been a delight just to talk just a little bit. And on behalf of the Board of Directors of Pisgah Health Foundation, I want to say thank you to you and the rest of the team for the tremendous work that you're doing to bring about this transformation in our community to help us be healthier.
Yeah, it is my pleasure, Angela. I am honored to do this work. And my coworkers, Mark and Tammy, we all are really working hard for the community. And we just ask that you do your part, join in and see if you can sign up for a class, take a cooking class, take a purpose workshop, sign up for a walking moai. There are things out there that can help you achieve longer life, and it's free. Because of our sponsor, we're able to offer everything through Blue Zones is free to the community. So come on board. If you haven't taken the pledge, do the personal pledge. It's online, and sign up for workshops and just be on the lookout. And if you're wondering personally what you can do besides the workshops, look at the Power 9 and see where in my life are there maybe areas that I can improve on? Where could I grow? And start there. By doing that, you will create that ripple effect that we talked about in the community, which will help so many people that you won't even know. So again, thank you again, Angela. I really appreciate it. And it's been an honor to be on here with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we also want to say thank you to Wildflower Media for their creative and technical support. Thank you to the Board of Directors and staff at Pisgah Health Foundation for all the work that they are doing, including being the sponsor here for Blue Zones Project Brevard. And we also would like to encourage you, if you liked this story and you want to hear more like this, go to pisgahhealthinsider.org and join the movement. And while you're here, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, be sure to like and subscribe and share this video so others can learn and get involved in this healthy transformation. Until we see you on the next Pisgah Health Today, stay well and be well.